You may think these images are from the movie Avatar or, maybe some other distant Earth-like planet. It's honestly hard to believe these places actually exist on our own planet. Here are 15 unbelievable places that actually exist. Underwater waterfall, Mauritius. Number 15. Underwater waterfall, Mauritius. Mauritius is known for its idyllic beaches and crystal-clear sea, but there's an unbelievable phenomenon at the southwest corner of the island that appears to be an underwater waterfall. Despite how it looks, this isn't actually a flowing region of water, but instead, an optical illusion that happens because of the sea floor structure. The island sits on an ocean shelf, which is no more than 500 feet deep. At the edge of the shelf, however, it soon plunges down to depths of almost 2.5 miles. And what you're actually seeing in the underwater waterfall is not water falling down into the abyss, but particles of sand that are being pushed over by the current. Glowworm Cave, New Zealand. Number 14. Glowworm Cave, New Zealand. New Zealand is one of the most scenic countries in the world, but beyond the peaks of the mountain ranges, the deep valleys and the glaciers are a series of caves that seem to have come straight from a fairy tale. The reason for this is because they're home to glowworms, which are the larval forms of a species of fungus gnat that are endemic to the country. Known locally as TTII, which means projected over water, the bioluminescence that's produced in the insect's abdomens is designed to attract prey, and happens as a result of a chemical reaction between a luciferase enzyme and a molecule of luciferin. It creates one of the most stunning sights that you can see in the natural world, and makes for a magical boat ride through the cavern when thousands of the glowworms are active. Tianzi Mountains, China. Number 13. Tianzi Mountains, China. China's Tianzi Mountains in the Hunan province are some of the most unusual mountain formations in the world. Covering an area of around 17,000 acres, they're made from quartz sandstone and first began to emerge from the earth about 400 million years ago. The subsequent erosion of the rock has created these skinny mountains, which reach a peak of 3,976 feet, and are named after the legend of a farmer who led a revolt against an oppressive regime, who called himself the Son of Heaven. When the mountains are covered in mist, there's something mystical about them, and it's no surprise they were the inspiration for mountainscapes in movies like Avatar, and are one of the most popular tourist destinations in the region. Grand Prismatic Spring, Wyoming, USA. Number 12. Grand Prismatic Spring, Wyoming, USA. The stunningly colorful Grand Prismatic Spring is in Yellowstone National Park, and it's actually the largest hot spring in the US. It's, bigger than a football field at about 370 feet wide, and with a depth of at least 160 feet, you could fit a 10-story building inside it. The spring is fed through a crack in its floor, through which as much as 560 gallons of water is released into it every minute. Its normal temperature is 160 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's because of this that it's surrounded by such vibrant rings. The color is created by the presence of microbes that live in hot environments, and depending on the time of year, you'll see reds, oranges, yellows, greens, and blues. Monte Roraima, Venezuela. Number 11. Monte Roraima, Venezuela. We're so used to seeing natural formations that have irregular shapes that it seems almost impossible for something to have a rigid design to it. Monte Roraima in Venezuela isn't your ordinary mountain though, and its 12-square-mile summit is surrounded by 1,300-foot-tall cliffs almost in a square shape. It's actually on a tri-point border between Venezuela, Guyana, and Brazil, and has long been part of local beliefs. The Paimon and Capone people believe it to be the stump of a giant tree that once bore all the fruits and vegetables in the world, and the seemingly unscalable cliffs have inspired a number of stories, including The Lost World by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and Paradise Falls from the movie Up. Lake Redba, Senegal. Number 10. Lake Redba, Senegal. On the northwest coast of Africa, about 18 miles northeast of the Senegalese capital Dakar, is a lake like anything you'll find elsewhere in the world. Called Lake Rekba, it has an extremely high salt content, and this provides ideal conditions for Dunaliella salina algae to thrive, which are bright red colored and make the water appear to be pink. This unusual hue is far more prominent during the region's dry season, between November and June, and the effect is accentuated by the magenta bushes that grow around its shores. The lake is an important economic center too, with thousands of people who rely on retrieving and selling the salt deposits as well as fishing the waters. Catches here don't quite match up to what's possible in other lakes, however, because to survive in such salty water, the fish only grow to around 1/4 the size they would do elsewhere. Red Beach Panjin. Number 9. Red Beach Panjin, China. You know, China is a country that's just packed with incredible geographic sites, but honestly, there's maybe none as surprising as the Red Beach in Panjin. It's located around the mouth of the Panjin-Shanghai Sea River, where the soil is so alkaline that hardly any species of plant can grow. One plant that really thrives, though, is the suede salsa, which has this deep red color, and is the reason the whole region looks so remarkable. It was once believed that Mars was red because it was covered in crimson plants, and if that were true, well, the beach at Panjin is probably exactly how it would have appeared, with so many plants growing along the shores. The Red Beach is actually the largest wetland area in the world, and together with the largest reed marsh in Asia, which is also there, the entire region is a protected area of natural interest. It's home to more than 260 different species of birds, and more than 400 species of other types of animals, including the rare red-crowned crane and black-mouthed gulls. And hey, before we move on, be sure to subscribe to Top 5s with notifications on. The Crooked Forest, Poland. Number 8. The Crooked Forest, Poland. Deep within a forest near the town of Grafino in Poland is a phenomenon that's confused researchers and visitors alike ever since it was first discovered. It's called the Crooked Forest, and there are an estimated 400 pine trees that, for some reason, have grown very differently from normal. It's thought that they were planted during the 1930s when the region was part of Germany, and after emerging from the ground like usual, they bent towards the north for several feet before growing upwards again. Nobody really knows why this has happened, or why it's something that only these 400 trees have done. There are a couple of theories though. The first is that it's the result of human design, maybe because of a tool that was used when they were first planted. Or, the alternative suggestion is that they were all subject to a freak weather event, such as a snowstorm, while they were still young in their development. No records exist to support either theory, however, so it's quite possible we'll just never know for certain. Stone Forest, Madagascar. Number 7. Stone Forest, Madagascar. So Madagascar is usually thought of as a place with an absolutely unmatched amount of biodiversity, but its geographical features are just as impressive. The Stone Forest, which is within the Singidaba Marhan National Park, actually began life hundreds of millions of years ago as a lagoon. Limestone deposits formed on the bed and, thanks to tectonic activity, were lifted above the water's surface. As the lagoon receded, more limestone was revealed and was worn away by the monsoon rains over the following millennia. This, combined with groundwater erosion that formed caves which later collapsed, has left a series of towers with canyons between them, resulting in the largest such formation in the world. Its name literally means where one cannot walk barefoot, and that's a pretty apt warning. These pillars, some of which are up to 2,600 feet high, are sharp enough to easily cut through flesh or equipment, so they really have to be traversed with the utmost care. Lake Baikal, Russia. Number 6. Lake Baikal, Russia. Lake Baikal, which is in southern Siberia, is the largest known freshwater lake in the world and contains almost a quarter of our planet's non-saline surface water. At 5,387 feet deep, it's the world's deepest lake, and it's also thought to be the oldest, having formed around 25 million years ago. As you'd expect, there's a wealth of plant and animal life in the region, and it supports countless villages and tribes. But the thing that's especially amazing about this place is what happens when it freezes over. Because it's formed in a valley, it's exposed to freezing winds that blow across its surface, and this leads to the creation of unbelievable ice structures that are honestly hard to believe form naturally. Methane bubbles are often trapped in the ice, and small particles are blown together, frozen, melted, and refrozen to join into these really unusual shapes.